my channel. Today we are finally going to be tackling a project that I have been putting off for entirely too long, and that is my extreme office makeover, which is the room we are in currently. This is where I film all my videos. This is where I work every day at my desk. It's just also like a little closet room, so it really is like a multifunctional room. I am one of the most indecisive people I know. I have a really hard time just deciding on like what aesthetic I wanted for this room, as well as just the pieces that are going to be going in this room and the colors, everything. I like too many things to make a decision, but I'm finally doing it and I'm really excited to share this process with you. I don't do a ton of like thrifted home decor and DIY kind of things on my channel, but it is definitely a goal of mine in 2021 to incorporate more of like my life and not just clothes, because I have more things that I'm interested in other than like shopping for thrifted clothes, even though that will always be what this channel is about. But I really want to share some other parts of my life with you guys, and I love thrifting for home decor. I love home style and just like architecture and all of the good like home things. So there's gonna be a lot of thrifting in this video for home stuff and furniture. There's gonna be a lot of like DIY and painting and all of that. And I have my dad outfit on and I'm excited to bring you guys along on this delicious DIY extreme office makeover. And so first I'm going to give you a tour of what we're working with here. Welcome to my very messy office right now. I didn't bother cleaning it up for you guys to give you an actual glimpse of what it looks like, and it's very messy. So this is the entryway. I have some art that I've never hung up, as well as my wedding bouquet, which I love, a bunch of stuff on the ground, and my desk area where I work my 9-to-5 job. I also just have a lot of little boho pieces of decor. This is also my filming room for YouTube, so I have my full-length mirror, my clothing rack, as well as a nice boho rug, and I'm hoping to stray away from that style in this office makeover, so it's going to look totally different when we're done. So we definitely have some good bones to work with and some good pieces that I'm going to keep and kind of upcycle and kind of make new again. Obviously, we're not working with like a bare bones space. I have quite a bit of stuff in here, but I want to switch a lot of it out because it's just not the aesthetic I'm going for anymore. And I think a lot of the stuff that I have in here has kind of just been pieces that I ended up not using in other parts of my house, and they just made their way into this room. So it's never really had like an aesthetic. So I really want to like give this room some direction and make it my dream office space. Before we get started, I wanted to share a few of the inspiration images I'm going to be pulling from for the room. I've really been loving the Danish modern style that's been emerging right now. I just love the use of like color and prints that just make a room feel so happy and fun. Now we're getting started at one of the mini trips to Home Depot to get this project going. Me trying to learn the difference between like this trowel and this trowel. Like I literally need a how-to guide. That was interesting to say the least. Thank God for the paint department, because they told me that I was pushing the cart wrong, and that's why I was struggling so much to push the cart. Like imagine me just walking through the Home Depot thinking I'm like the dad, like boom boom bee doo boo 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 boo, and I don't know how to push the cart. So this is off to a great start, guys. It's paint day! I am kind of nervous about this. After calling my mom like 5 different times, because I've literally never painted a room by myself, I feel like I have all of the tools. I got the paintbrush, I got this little stick thing. I have all of the things to paint this room. So after like 20 minutes of being on the phone with my mom and being very indecisive about what color I was going to get, I finally decided on this bear color called Ever Blooming. And it's this really pretty peachy sort of pink color. My husband told me that it was gonna look like a 16-year-old girl's bedroom. So we're gonna try to not go that route, and we're gonna try to bring all of the 80s aesthetic modern vibes after I paint this. So let's get to cleaning up this room, getting all of the stuff moved out, and then we can start prepping it and hopefully finish painting it today. I'm gonna put on some Netflix and just show you guys kind of the progress as it goes on, and hopefully I like this color because I'm just the most indecisive person ever, and I'm really nervous that I'm gonna hate it, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. I have no other choice because I already got a gallon. I've acquired one husband to help me with this task. Come on, I am a self-sufficient girl. I just need your muscle to help me move this. Thank you, sir. How should we do this? I can't really get behind it here. Oh, it fell off. It already
just carry it. Go
okay,
replace it over there.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, a sock. Hold it up. We did it!
Bye.
Thanks, love you.
Yeah.
The look of disaster when he left the room. So, desk is in the middle of the room. That's the best it's gonna get. And I'm gonna start cleaning the baseboards so that I can put this paint strip stuff on here. What is this called? Painter's tape. I'm really pretending to be a DIY bitch, but I'm not, guys. Is there anything more satisfying in the world than taking off the painter's tape when you're done painting all the trim? And now for the fun part, finally painting the bulk of the walls so we can get an actual look at what this color is gonna be like. So far, I'm really liking it. It's very pink.
You want now, or is it because you can't forget her?
Okay, it's starting to get a little dark out, so apologies that the lighting isn't great, but right now I'm a little freaking out because I feel like this is very pink. It's not even translating that well on camera right now, but it is more pink than this. So I'm a little concerned that maybe I went too far. At this point, I have done so much that I'm like, I might as well just keep going and then decide if I hate it. I was trying to finish up the room last night, but I was just really honestly hating the color. So I ended up going back late last night and I picked up a sample of like a lighter peachier color. I'm thinking that I like this a lot better. It's a little bit more of like a pale peachy pink, which is what I was going for. Let's do this again. God.
It's what I want now, and yeah, I'm waiting for something better. This is what I want now. No, I want.
Okay, it is exactly midnight. It's looking so good. I'm so glad that I switched the color because I love this so much more. It's definitely exactly what I was going for. I'll check in with you guys later when the room is all done in the daylight.
It's never ending. Can't give you what you need. Oh no, no. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting.
Today we are going to be replacing this fan with something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and I think will help tie the room in together. I think this fan is a bit of an eyesore. I also just never use it, so I think the new light fixture I got is going to be so crucial in those like tiny details you need to really transform a room. And I'm going to start by removing the old fan. Goodbye, good riddance. I don't want you anymore. Cut the bowl off. So now I have to decipher what that means. So, what does this mean? This is gonna take an actual degree for me to do. That one's in French. Oh, here we go. Support screw. These.
Once I figured out how to read the instructions, it actually wasn't hard at all to install this light fixture I got on Amazon for $55.
I can't believe I installed a light fixture. What the heck?
Now for my favorite part, the home decor thrifting.
So I'm in the parking lot of one of my favorite thrift stores here in Nashville, Music City Thrift. I think that finding furniture and home decor pieces, but specifically furniture secondhand, is so challenging. There's obviously not as much of a quantity, and it obviously has to match like the design aesthetic that you're going for. So I am imagining that I'm probably going to have to go to quite a lot of thrift stores, antique stores, vintage markets, things like that to find exactly what I'm looking for, as well as searching online on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for some of those bigger items like a desk or a side table, a chair, things like that. But I definitely think I can find pretty much the bulk of all of the kind of like tchotchke little like fill-in pieces at thrift stores. And if I happen to be so lucky to find some really good furniture pieces for a good deal, then I will definitely snatch them up. But let's go on and head into Music City Thrift, and I think I'll probably hit up a few other spots because these will be quicker trips.
This is like an 80s or 90s plant stand, and I'm loving the gold detail and then this like cream laminate. I think this is going to be perfect in the room.
And Christmas is my favorite time. And Christmas is my favorite time. Yeah.
So I just found this little like light bulb fixture. It's $3, and there's this light that I really wanted, or a lamp that I wanted from IKEA. It just kind of sits on the table like that. But I saw this and I remembered that I already had a light bulb that's just like attached to a cord essentially. So I wonder if I could just like basically rig it to be inside of here and have that sit on the table like that. Instead of paying $30 for the light fixture, I could literally make my own for $3 plus what I had at home. So I'm gonna try it out and see if it works, because I feel like that would be such a good, easy DIY and a way to like save a little bit of extra money and do it the thrifty way.
Let's go head on over to our next stop, which is going to be Thrift Smart.
So one of my favorite ways of decorating inexpensively is to decorate a space with thrifted books. I usually look for vintage ones with colorful covers that stack nicely on table surfaces, like these magazines.
It's pretty dark out now, but I ended up just getting those books. I got like 18 magazines and then some vintage books, and I spent less than $7. So I feel like that is such a great thrifty way of just making those little detailed bits of a room really look unique, and a really inexpensive way to do that. So that is it for the day, and I will check in with you guys later. I ended up going over to one of my favorite antique stores called Gas Lamp 2. They have a really good selection of like different styles and stuff. A lot of really good like mid-century 80s modern. This place is a little bit more expensive than just a regular thrift or consignment shop, but you are paying for a curated item. Usually I just end up like browsing in here for forever because it's one of the antique stores that kind of has different booths. So it's really fun to just like see what everybody has, but I'm hoping that we can find something to add to the room today. So yeah, let's head into Gas Lamp 2 Antiques and do some antiquing. This place is just a giant warehouse of all these different vendors. It's such a cool spot. I'm so excited to dig in here. It is massive. Gaslamp 2 and I'm now at a Goodwill. I didn't end up picking up anything at Gaslamp 2, but I definitely found a few pieces that I was interested in and that I think will be there for a while. So I'm going to do my rounds of the other thrift stores because obviously I am looking for a deal, but I will definitely loop back around to that store if I end up really wanting any of those few pieces that I saw that I really like. So let's go head on to this Goodwill and see if they have any good deals.
So I just found this brand new picture frame. I like the cat. I don't know if I'll keep it or not, but I'm definitely going to be getting some prints online to put in the room, and so I want to thrift all of the frames to go in. So this is $10, which I feel like is a little bit pricier for them, but I also think it's like brand new condition. It has the matting, so I feel like that's not bad. And obviously I couldn't resist this jacket. Totally not part of the video, but is a vintage like 70s leather jacket, $15. And then I also found this little vintage like 70s vest. Anyways, I'm clearly distracted, but I had to show you. So I like this. I'm gonna look at some more of their frames over here. Didn't see anything in the furniture section, and then we'll head on over to the homewares. Here is another plain black frame I found. It has all these spots for pictures, but I'm just gonna take the matting out so I can put a good poster in here, and it is $6, brand new. So I think I might have found a little console table that I want to put in right when you walk into the room. Today it would be $18.75, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do a whole like DIY project on this. I'm going to recover this whole thing. I think this is gonna be perfect for what I'm thinking. It fits! Now it's time for a hearty attempt at some DIY projects. So I picked up this mirror on Facebook Marketplace a couple months ago. It is super tall and wide. I think it's like 3x6. So I have been sanding this silver color off so I can repaint it in a color that I feel like will suit the room a little bit better. I have never used an electric sander before, so this is gonna be interesting. Not me trying to figure out how to use a power tool on YouTube. I'm dying, guys. We're gonna see how this goes because I am learning while we're filming. Once I got a hang of the power sander, it wasn't difficult at all to get the paint off. I've never used any power tools before, but this one was way easier than expected. I have acquired help for this next project. I am the help, aka Caroline. So we're gonna spray paint this mirror. We actually tested a few different colors, but they were just not it. No. So we went back to Home Depot and got this one that's more of a metallic, and we're gonna give it our best. We're gonna spray this bitch. Spray this bitch. Spray this bitch. We ended up using the rust-oleum metallic gold spray paint for the mirror. A lot of the paint we tried was super matte, but this one had the perfect shiny finish.
The next project that we're gonna be working on is really just cleaning up this amazing piece that I just got on Facebook Marketplace this morning. It definitely is inspired by that like 80s modern aesthetic that I'm going for. I paid $75 for it, which I feel like is a really good deal for a really sturdy desk. I work a 9-to-5 job, so I had to have something that was extremely practical, ergonomic, comfortable to sit at when I'm literally working up to 10 hours a day a lot of the time. So it really had to kind of check all those boxes. I was prepared to pay more than that and possibly buy something that wasn't secondhand, but I really wanted to do all of this video as much as like secondhand and upcycle and DIY as possible, just to show you that it is possible to do. So I'm going to be taking this desk and kind of just cleaning it up a bit, giving it a good wash down, as well as kind of fixing up a few little chips and things like that that's on the desk. I already broke 2 nails this morning just trying to get it into my car from this person's storage. Don't even ask me how we're gonna get it upstairs. I'm probably gonna have to loop in my burly neighbors to help with that one, but we will certainly get it up into the room, and I think it's going to make the space.
So Facebook Marketplace is one of my absolute favorite places to look for secondhand furniture. I have almost entirely furnished my house with finds just from Facebook Marketplace, because you can usually find some really good deals if you search frequently. So definitely check out Facebook Marketplace in your area if you are looking for a good deal on some furniture. This desk was in pretty good condition. I just needed to clean it up with some soap and water and then patch up a few of the chips with some patch and paint.
Today's DIY is going to involve me using a power saw for the first time, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm really excited about this DIY that I have been dreaming up for quite some time. If you remember in my original like room tour before, on the right hand side I had this circular IKEA mirror that was in a little frame that I just popped out, and so I'm going to upcycle this mirror because I want to try to use things from the room that I already have. So I ended up just going to Home Depot and I got a big piece of particle board, and I'm going to try to flip this into a colorful curvy mirror. We're gonna see how it goes. A lot of the inspiration images that I showed you guys, there was this full-length designer mirror that literally cost thousands of dollars, and I've seen people DIY that exact mirror on TikTok, but I've never seen anybody do anything besides like a full-length mirror. So I want to try to do something similar with a circular mirror. So my plan is to take this big piece of particle board, cut out a circle that is the size of my mirror, and then design the curvy design on the inside of the mirror and paint that, and then with some glue just glue it on to the mirror, and it'll be like a frame of the mirror, and I think it'll be a really cool like flip, but we'll see. Again, I'm using a power saw for the first time, so I actually have 2 pieces of board just in case I mess it up the first time. And we're gonna see how this is gonna go. I think just from the tutorials that I've watched on TikTok, it shouldn't be too difficult, but also I'm using a power saw for the first time, so.
I started off by tracing the outline of the mirror onto the particle board.
I am embarrassed to say how many YouTube videos it just took me to learn how to just put the saw together. Like I put it together and I guess the blade was backwards and it started smoking, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. Turns out it was wrong because I had it backwards.
So this project definitely took some trial and error. I'll just put it that way. I started off by using a circular saw, but ended up needing to use a jigsaw in order to cut the round edges. Honestly, I can't even believe I know the difference between the two now. I have come so far. Then I used a 3-inch bowl to outline the curvy edges of the inside of the circle.
Probably should plug it in first.
Now for the fun part of cutting out the curvy inlay of the circle. Honestly, after I figured out what saw to use and how to use it, this wasn't that difficult to do, and now I know how to use a power saw for the future. I also used my electric sander to soften the edges.
So I have my wood cut out here. I think it looks really, really good. I'm honestly like really proud of myself that I did this, and I feel like this was the push I needed to become more confident in doing more DIY projects. And now we just have to finish her out by painting it, and I am using one of the samples I got for the wall color in there. So you can get samples at like Home Depot and Lowe's for super cheap. I think they're like $2. So this will definitely be enough to cover the wood piece. And this is the color Growing Season. It's a nice like cool, almost like seafoam green, and I think it'll go really nice with the pink walls. She's all done. I let her dry overnight. I'm loving this color and I just love this design. And now we need to just glue this baby on to the circular mirror. So I have some wood glue and I'm just going to vigorously spread the glue on the back of this. I'm really excited to see the final results. We just gotta glue this baby on and then we're done. I have my clamps on there. I'm gonna let this sit for a while. It honestly was super easy to apply on there and it looks amazing. Like, what? This literally looks like a designer mirror. So while my mirror is drying here, I have this piece left over from the inside of the mirror frame, and I just think it's such a cool shape. So I took to Instagram and asked people what they thought I should make of this. I got a lot of really good responses, but one thing that I need in the room and that I'm still on the hunt for was a side table. So I figured I have a bunch of extra particle board that I can make this into a table and like paint it a super fun color.
For the table, I am creating a square base using the leftover particle board. So I measured 4 8x24-inch pieces and cut those out with my jigsaw. Then using these brackets, I attached all of the pieces along with some wood glue for some added support, and it seemed super sturdy when it was done, so kudos to me. Also, I do not know how to use a power drill, so I'm using a screwdriver.
We have reached the final screw of my table base. Why did it take me like an hour and a half to screw all the screws? I don't know. That's just the theme of this video, is everything's taking longer than it should.
But for real, this took so long to screw on all the brackets, but I wanted it to be super sturdy, which it is, so I was happy to put in the work. To attach the tabletop to the base, I added some wood glue, and then I put a bracket on each side. Once it was dry in the morning, I sanded the edges and then finished her off with a coat of this amazing green paint, and I think it's turned out so good. I think it's so unique, and I just love it so much, and I can't believe I made a table!
All right, guys, we are reaching the end of the DIY projects, and I'll give you a recap later, but this has just been such an amazing experience, and to get to share it with you guys of just like empowering myself through creating, which I think is amazing. With that being said, we are on to what I think is our final DIY project that I'm going to do for the room. So I've been seeing these tiled like cube tables and just waterfall tables all over Instagram and TikTok. I think the original one is extremely expensive, but people have been creating them from tiles that they just purchased at Home Depot with some grout and have turned it into these incredible like designer looking tables. So if you remember, I went to a local like secondhand furniture place. I ended up picking up that cube kind of storage furniture piece. I don't really know what you call it, but that is the piece that I'm going to turn into the cubed tile table of my dreams. So I have a bunch of tiles, I have some paint that I'm going to paint these, I have grout, I have my table, and now it's time for possibly the greatest thrift flip of all time in this video.
So I used 12x12 tile sheets and painted them a darker peach color to complement the walls of the room. I then attempted to seal in the paint with this clear spray paint, more on that later, but while the tile dried, I painted a few sides of the table where the tiles weren't being added.
All right, guys. Well, the painting of the tiles did not go as planned. The tiles immediately started scratching, the paint started coming off, so I kind of went back to square one. I sanded out the tiles and got all the paint off, did a bit more research, went back to Home Depot, and I ended up picking up a primer. So this is supposed to help the paint stick more to the ceramic tiles, and then once it dries I can apply this polyurethane coating, which will then take another couple days to dry. But I honestly want to do this right, and I want to show you guys like what doesn't go well and what does go well, so that if you do try this project or any of the other ones that I've kind of done in this video, you know the best process, or at least what worked for me. So I'm going to get back to painting, and I will check back in with you guys in a couple of days once everything has had a chance to dry, and we will actually apply the tiles to the table, finally.
So after I applied the primer and the paint again, I put on the polyurethane paint to coat the surface and help protect against scratches and water damage.
So I have allowed the primer, paint, and polyurethane coating to dry over the span of about a week, and today we are finally installing the tiles onto the cube table. This has taken a lot longer than I thought it would, but I wanted to do it right and make sure that the paint really stays as best as I can. We're gonna finally put these tiles on.
To apply the tiles, I'm using my trowel to apply a thin layer of tile glue and then press the tiles in firmly. Then I mixed up some white grout and started grouting the tiles. I used a wet sponge to wipe off the excess grout, and the finished product looks so good. Like, I literally can't believe I made this. It is finally installation day, guys. I am starting off by unrolling this checkered print rug that I got as a gift from Urban Outfitters. I'm adding my thrifted chair that I got for $10 a couple years ago in this corner, and this vintage sheepskin little rug that totally makes the chair better. Here's my DIY table. Cannot believe I made a table. So cool. And here is the little globe that I thrifted for $3. I ended up putting some little twinkle lights in there, and I think it turned out so good. You would never think that this is literally just a lampshade that I paid $3 for. I styled up the table with a vintage book and a candle, and then I added back in my clothing rack. This is just such a staple to the room. I added some pink hangers to match the aesthetic of the room, and some colorful pastel clothes to match the color palette. I added in a couple vintage hat box that I thrifted, as well as some fun shoes. Over the clothing rack, I hung 2 thrifted pieces of art. I love these so much, and I cannot believe that I got them at Goodwill for like $5. So this corner of the room is my absolute favorite because I worked with a local ceramicist, Hannah from Mountaintop Mud Pottery, and local plant designer Beth from Knockin Roots here in Nashville to come up with these custom ceramic propagation stations that match the design of the room so perfectly. Hannah just restocked Mountaintop Mud's website, so I've linked her shop below if you want to snag a ceramic hanging like mine. We are also hosting a giveaway on Instagram right now where you can win one of these, so check out the pinned comment below on how to enter. I brought in the big guns, aka my husband Derek, to help me bring in the DIY tiled table. It looks so good in this space, and now I'm going to style it up using some of the vintage magazines I got, this thrifted little hand, a thrifted shell bowl with some vintage matchbooks. My mom got me a big box of these a couple years ago, and I love filling them in little bowls. And this cube, I did a vintage book and a little figurine, and then a disco ball on the last one. This mirror tile table combo is just to die for. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I styled it up with a thrifted ceramic piece, my dictionary of fashion history, and some fun candles I got on Etsy. Of course, I had to add back in my wedding bouquet, and then in the opposite corner of the room is my $75 Facebook Marketplace desk. I love it so much. I styled up the table with this cute little thrifted squiggle lamp, another candle, and then I ended up buying a bunch of pastel computer accessories to match the room, as well as some pastel pens because we're here for an aesthetic, guys.
I installed a gallery wall over my desk area. These are all thrifted frames and all of the prints were either thrifted or downloaded from Etsy. I added in my very large mirror. It looks so good. I feel like you would find this at Anthropologie or something. And then my 80s or 90s plant stand. I love how the gold complements the mirror with a very large pathos plant. I added a couple ottomans as well as some pillows for coziness. And here's how the final room turned out. DIY office makeover. I cannot stop smiling because I'm just so damn proud of how this room turned out. It is beyond what I ever imagined or could have dreamed for this room, and I'm just so proud of the fact that I actually executed and it looks incredible. This project over the last 3 weeks, because that's how long it took to do all of this, was so empowering for me. I conquered painting a room, using a power saw, and I created a mirror and a freaking table. I made a piece of furniture from scratch. And if putting this room together taught me anything, it was that I can literally do anything. And this was kind of just a passion project for me. I tried a bunch of new stuff that I had literally no experience doing before, and it turned out amazing. And that just goes to show you that if you have something that you want to do, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I firmly believe that for me and for you. It was a journey. There were a lot of lessons learned, but I'm coming out of this on such a high, and I can't wait to see what 2021 brings for you and for me and for this whole channel. And I hope to keep integrating more home and thrifted and DIY stuff onto this channel and kind of expand what I'm bringing you guys this year. I hope you loved this kind of different video that I haven't done before, and I hope you're ready for more this year. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!